The modern world is so abstracted and complex that many of us have forgotten the very basic lessons our ancestors knew by heart, the wisdom that nature provides. One of our primary motivations in moving here to Cornwall was to own some land and become a little more self-sufficient. Some land doesn't just offer space to grow or build, it offers profound insight into nature's cycles, its strength and its relentless drive to flourish. We have 2 acres here, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it also feels like a lot more than it is because we're on a hillside. If you saw 2 acres of flat arable land, you'd probably think, it's not much, and it would admittedly be much easier to work. But over the nearly decade that we've been living here now, the land itself has taught us a lot, and today I want to share 3 key lessons on what might happen during a societal collapse and how understanding our land can help prepare us. Number 1. The natural end state of any piece of land is a forest. All nature wants to do is to return to this state. That's what it strives for. Weather permitting, the only other real limit is that of animals. Any large grazing animals will kill young saplings. So when people talk about, say, the moors here in Cornwall being classic examples of grasslands, that we should maintain them in this natural state, well, they're not natural at all. They used to be entirely forest, but in the Bronze Age, humans cut down the forest to fuel the fires, and since then put animals on there to graze for free on the common. Take those animals away, the ones we mostly grow for meat, and the land will absolutely return to a natural forest state within a decade or 2. And this is true the world over. When we first moved here, I thought, I want to plant a forest on this empty field, and while that's one option, if you want to shape how the final forest will be in the case of our small orchard and food forest, the other option is just don't bother. Leave it alone. Rewild it and it'll do it anyway. If you stop interfering, any piece of land will eventually become a forest. We didn't plant this oak tree here, nor did we plant this one. The only reason it isn't a forest yet is because we cycle the pigs over here once a year and they decimate everything. So the key lesson here is that if you want more forests, just leave the land alone. Rewild it. Second, the rate at which nature will reclaim untended land is terrifyingly fast. There are parts of our garden that if we don't cut the brambles or bracken, will be inaccessible in less than a year. It's kind of fun actually to come down and spend a day cutting new paths, rediscovering old areas. And that got me thinking about the roads here as well. At least here in Cornwall, a good chunk of the road network is barely big enough for a single car. And sometimes you'll pass through them just before it's scheduled to be cut, and the sides will be whacking up against your car. In a collapse scenario, there would be no easy route between some villages here. Some would be completely cut off simply because if the hedge cutting stops, if no one had the fuel for it or was being paid for it, the road would be reclaimed within the year as nature. Third, after nearly a decade of being at this, we've learnt that living off your own land is incredibly difficult. We've attempted to make our patch of earth self-sustaining, and the journey has been eye-opening. It's a common romantic notion to believe that with a piece of land you can simply plant some seeds, rear a few animals, and nature will do the rest. The reality means battling pests, unpredictable seasons, soil issues, and the sheer amount of time and effort involved. Achieving true self-sufficient abundance is a monumental task and nigh on impossible if you still want to participate in modern society while you still can, or maintain a full-time job, crazy things like that. While I think we might just manage to survive based on what we produce if there was no more supermarket, it's far from the idyllic, overflowing gardens and barns that many people envision. It just serves to emphasize the importance of community and interdependence. No matter how self-sufficient we aim to be, collaboration and shared knowledge will become invaluable in ensuring not just survival, but a good quality of life in a post-collapse world. Your biggest asset is not a big field, a well-stocked pantry, or a really nice gun, but a good community. And the single biggest thing you can do today to build your own resilience is to build a strong community. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and until next time, stay grounded and stay prepared.